David, and thanks to the first 3 poets who read, and for everybody for braving the elements for poetry. I'm shocked that anyone's here. Thank you. So as David said, I have the pleasure of introducing our first feature poet today, James Henry Knippen. He grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and he received his MFA from Texas State University. His debut poetry collection, titled Would We Still Be, won the 2020 New Issues Poetry Prize, and it's released, it's just not here. It was so close to being here, it'll probably show up tomorrow. But yeah, the book just came out and they're shipping now. They're in transit. So yeah, check that out online and order a copy. Unfortunately, you can't get it here today. He is the recipient of a 92nd Street Wide Discovery Prize. His poetry has appeared in many fantastic magazines, such as 32 Poems, AGNI. Let's see, this is a long list. I'm gonna just pick my favorites out of here. Now, Crazyhorse, Gulf Coast, Kenyon, Smartish Pace. There it is. So this is our new issue. I'm gonna do a plug here, and it came out a little bit ago. And James' poem kicks off the issue. It's the first one, which I kind of forgot about that until today. But that is a compliment because we always put like a poem with a punch at the beginning. So that's cool. All right. So those are some of the and also West Branch. All right. He is the poetry editor of Newfound, and he comes to us today driving here from Clinton, New York. Please welcome James Henry Knippen.
Hey, thanks so much, Stephen. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited with the number of people that came out despite the chilly weather, so this is great. I'm going to be reading from my book, Would We Still Be? It's available to order right now. Support your local bookstore, maybe order a copy through the Ivy. I'm just going to start with the first poem from the book, which is creatively titled Poem. Poem. Like a yellow light means drive faster. Like the metal stem of an umbrella makes one feel larger in a lightning storm. Like night makes passages faster. Like death makes words mean more. Like rain fills footprints a fox left in silt. Like one's lips become lampreys, smuggling purple blood in death's wake. Like love is the word most likely to wilt. Like the heart is dragged like a lake. Like a good river hugs its cities to sleep. Like the nearest star to the darkness of shark eyes kisses the lilies alive. Like a slaughterhouse worships its guise of trees. Like a ghost bites the end of a line. Like a hawk forsakes a starling's feathers. Like a closet trapped inside a ghost opens and shuts like an aortic valve. Like a song despises the cage it weathers. Like a fractured bone forgives itself. Like a good moon carves its oceans askew. Like the human eyes sculpted into a whale sink back to a deeper, older dark. Like hope dismantles the gatehouse in you. Like the dead drag the moats of the heart. This next poem is called Moon. Wet moon on blue stem, if sound is enough. If sound is enough, trillium tryst, mouth full of dark roses. If image is enough, if image is enough, weeping gladiolus. Frangipani at dusk, if fragrance is enough. If flavor is enough, moonseed paralysis. Gold shadow of monkshood, if faith is enough. If touch equals faith, moons do not exist. Rose shadows wither when the hedge is on fire. If love is enough, chrysanthemum kiss. Blue light licks the lakeshore. If the moon's a damned liar. If the moon's wet enough, incinerate this. This next poem is called Portent. Or we are an ocean thrown across the surface of a leaf, turning, or all color will evaporate, like a lake where fish once glowed and swam like little moons here and there, or cockroaches and roses will hold communion in the fallout of our thinking, or the mind is water in a wicker basket, or the hungry knife will be eaten by a hematic anti-mirror, or what was a voice will be replaced by a hole whose limit is the sound of blood moving through you like wind, or the last light will go out, or a miracle may invade the natural, or it is already too late. Poem. I wanted to rescue the moon from our hopes. I wanted to rescue our hopes from hell. I wanted to rescue hell from existence. I wanted to rescue existence from itself. So, this is the first semester where I'm back teaching in person since the start of the pandemic. I'm a college instructor. And I didn't realize until I was back in the context of a classroom how bad my hearing and tinnitus has gotten since the start of the pandemic. This is the first semester I'm actually having a hard time hearing my students. So this is a poem about tinnitus. It's about hearing loss, and it's called The Sound of Injured Rabbits. The forest I grew was impossibly dark. I could not list the names of the trees. Dendroidal silhouettes fled into distances, insisting we hold ourselves accountable for the dream. Two rabbits foraged a blue floor there, mutedly, luminous clearing that occurred to me as suddenly as traps then shattered their hocks, screams the shrill pitch of lost hearing. As I fled, they would not fade, as if sound could flower without wilting. I covered my ears, the screams grew louder. I came to a hallway, black with no mirrors, singing as I felt my way. L is for lacunae, A is for auriform, M is for Niemann, P is for solosis. The lamp I then held revealed a room where my father reads the paper, looks up, asks, "What sounds like the sound of injured rabbits?" As Steph mentioned, I drove in today from sort of upstate New York area, and my spouse, Elizabeth, who just read her poem Dementia, was lovely enough to come with me. So I wanted to read a love poem, and this poem is called, if I can find it, the poem is called Pillow Talk. Here we go. Pillow talk. No, what you need to understand is that when I speak of love, I speak of a literal interpretation of the word. Not of what warms itself between two palms, nor of what the torso's skin will speak upon a cheek's caress. No, when I speak love, I speak of a literal interpretation. Not of that between a woman and a man and a man, nor of that between the woman and the snake who conceived a child and named her Heaven. I do not speak of the burden of a brother fated to flames. No, when I say love, I mean it in a literal sense. I do not speak of daisies or of lilacs, or meaning to suggest the corpulence of red or purple berries, or of shadows cast in grasses, soft as cushions. I do not speak of reincarnation or resurrection. No, I do not speak of a whale's material, heart, or the ocean in any sense. No, I speak love literally. I do not speak of the ghost of a breath, or in a breath, or of a father. I do not speak in my father's voice, and I speak of love. I do not speak the gust from the word, nor the word. I speak no letters when I speak of love. I am prohibited to speak of it beyond the hole and the zero that surrounds it when I speak it. I don't actually believe that about love, by the way. That was a poem that pretty much dictated itself. I love you very much, Elizabeth. I think I'm going to read a couple of fables. I've only got 2 fables in my book. One is a little bit more narrative, and the other is a little bit more lyrical. But this first one is called Window. Two sparrows lived in separate cages in a room, and would have been divided from each other's view. A wall stood in between their keeps, but for a window adjacent the wall that each could look through and upon, and see the body of the other mirrored on its surface, that both appeared transparent as a ghost or glass. The window looked upon some trees, a sky, a distant lake. The sparrows saw the scene projected through their bodies on the glass, and believed the bodies contained its beauty, and that this beauty gave them song. The beauty of the songs was such it caused a longing in each bird to see the body beyond the wall and all that each contained together. Trees, a sky, the lake that let them sing until the quiet of rain on water. In time, the rain passed through the ceiling, over the wall, eroding it until it fell and let each longing see its other. And so, the sparrow saw the truth was but a mirror, less like a lake than utterly unclear, a window but an architect of ghosts, that no sky beat within a breast, nor trees within a wing. Then rain as sudden as songs turned sad, fell quiet as the room became, and they longed for the wall to be between them again. This next fable is called Story Told to Ghosts. I'm really obsessed with oral traditional ghost stories, like campfire style ghost stories. So I was asking myself, well, what would it be if like ghosts were sitting around, like telling some sort of a story to each other? And I don't know that this poem actually accomplishes that, whoever could. But I was like, you know, if ghost stories are about the dead, maybe they're gonna tell a story about the living. Anyway, this is what I came up with. It follows some of the sort of keys to oral performance, but this is called Story Told to Ghosts. The foxglove said to the harebell, wear your nightgown of existence like a spool does, as I do. The foxglove said to the harebell, smell sweet like the presence of bats. The foxglove said to the harebell, have your negligee woven from eyelids that flutter like curtains of a house broken into. But the foxglove's nightgown carried it away because it was made of flying bats. This next poem I'm going to read is the poem that Steph was lovely enough to publish in Smartish Pace. It's called Answers. Answers. Tree because it cannot seize the moon, leaf because it cannot sing your fate, worm because the scent of rain came as sudden as the rain, bird because the broken shells were once the shapes of lungs, ghost because your ticking heart would sooner die than stop, light because it cherishes the shadows it soaks up, forest floor because the dead invent religions made of moss, hidden door because our ghosts forget how to fashion song from loss, beauty because spiders turn trees to mummified chandeliers, love because the end is always near. Love the wind chime going in the back there. It's helping fill some of the silence as I find these poems in this document. This next poem I'm going to read is called Beggars. Violets beg with violins, callas beg with cups, tulips beg like church bells beckon, a trio of trillium begs the question, Would we still be beautiful if no person ever saw us? Irises beg with the sad eyes of lilacs. Anemones beg like a ghost with no kitchen. Pansies beg with soot on their faces. A choir roll, spiderworts warbles. Would we be beautiful if no person ever existed? Giant orchids beg for nothing, they roar for it. Asters beg with cut-rate roses. Roses beg with thorns, receive nothing. I'll read two more poems. I'm going to go less than 20 minutes because it's cold. And I want to make sure everybody gets to see everybody else. So, two more poems. This next poem is called Couplets for Hopelessness. I want to make a beautiful song. A wasp is dying inside the guitar. An early snowfall bells the trees, the moon an untangleable yarn. The fog is a distant bell, rings out. Boats are burning on the river. Two pairs of eyes erect a bridge, the moon a moth-shaped riddle. They say to exist is to occur forever. Death, like sex, invents a skeleton. Like love, an echo is usually two, the bullet a clue nothing comes of. Fall wears scarecrows like a rite, church bells dawn like bloodletting. Prayer encircles a storm in skin, the dead doe's black eye rippling. We exchange pain like a currency, my blood spins like a clock. Birds gather like applause on wind. Is my soul an empty mailbox? The wind is a shawl, is apt enough. Did you name your shadow after love? Crow and foxblood look the same. Did you call your soul a tattered moth? But wasn't the soul the beauty of its own saying, far more malleable than air? Wasn't the wind a way of believing that the soul was there? I once believed the soul was there. Night is a crow pecking headstones. My skin disguises the gore of me, the same that hides your bones. And I started with the first poem in the book, so I'll end with the last poem in the book. And this is a poem, I should say, this was inspired by a poem by Mark Strand called Elevator. I don't know if people know that poem or not. It's very short, so I guess I think I can recite it. I'll try to really quick. In two parts, Elevator. 1. The elevator went to the basement. A man stepped in and asked if I was going up. I'm going down, I said. I won't be going up. 2. The elevator went to the basement. A man stepped in and asked if I was going up. I'm going down, I said. I won't be going up. And I love that poem so much. The fact that it's two sections, they're both the same. Somehow the creep factor of that poem just increases dramatically because of that second section. I just love it. Anyway, so that inspired the last poem in this book, which is not in sections. It's just, but it's the same line repeated 4 times. But the line breaks are different each time. So I'm going to try to read the line breaks of this one. Thanks again so much for being here and for listening. This is called Lilies. My inheritance is the names of flowers, my tongue, a red headstone speaking the names of lilies. My inheritance is the names of flowers, my tongue, a red headstone speaking the names of lilies. My inheritance is the names of flowers, my tongue, a red headstone speaking the names of lilies. Our inheritance is the names of flowers, our tongues, red headstones speaking the names of the lilies. Thank you.